Hello again. You're watching the Midday View. Now, Minister of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma, says government is pushing forward on its new district development model. In Parliament last week, she said the new model will introduce hubs which will house critical and scarce skills like engineers, planners, ICT specialists and administrators to assist districts and local municipalities. Professor Jaap, the Visser, the co-author of the Local Government Law of South Africa and the director of the Dullah Omar Institute, is joining us now this hour here on the Midday View. Good afternoon, sir, and thank you very much for your time. Just an overriding question first. I mean, it seems from outside that the problems of local government or municipalities are really around basic issues like management and skills and planning and project management, but a lot of politics gets in the way. This new model, do you think it can work?
Good afternoon, and thanks for having me, Dan. The model can work, but it's nothing new. That is my overall assessment. It is basically government gritting its teeth and saying, promising, we will try even harder what we have been trying to do all along. Because many of us in local government have seen these kind of initiatives before, and they haven't really produced the kind of results we wanted. So we are a bit cynical. What is also difficult is that there is actually no policy. If you want to look up on any government website what the DDM actually means, there is no written policy that explains what it means. So it's a bit difficult to assess. The idea is good. The idea is that the three levels of government will work together, collaborate, and try to align their efforts to make local government work better. But that has been on the card since 2000, to be honest, and that has always been the plan and always been the objective. So there's nothing new on the horizon in that sense. What it may be doing is give some more momentum to that need for collaboration and support for local government, and that's always good. But what it will not fix, and I think that's the point you are making, it will not fix the political instability in municipalities. When a municipality collapses, when the council meeting becomes a circus, and councils walk out and councils don't meet and it's political mayhem, then the DDM won't work. It will not land and it will not have an effect. So it is good for those municipalities that have some reasonable governance. For them, it will help.
Yeah, and the risk of what you've just outlined there in the end of the political instability happening in a coalition government have all been very visible for us to see. We've seen them in Tshwane, and we saw that in Nelson Mandela Bay.
Yes, they have. They have been very visible in coalition municipalities, and where the governance problems would become even worse. And that is because we are not very good at managing coalitions. Coalition government is another type of government. It is not based on the winner takes it all. It is about inclusivity. It is not about the majority. And we haven't gotten that right yet in South Africa. For example, one thing that we have consistently done in many municipalities is that the kingmaker who has a sliver of representation in the council, but who happens to be the kingmaker suddenly walks away with being the mayor. So you'll have a situation where someone with 2% of the vote ends up with the most important position in the municipality. That is not sustainable. It's not democratic, and it doesn't work. And in the end, those coalitions collapse. So we need more experience and more maturity in the way coalitions are being handled, because that is where some of the worst governance collapses have been visible.
When I hear, let's go back to the model issue. When I hear district development model, I'm looking at this yet another structure, yet another operating model. And the minister saying in Parliament last week is going to introduce hubs, which will house critical and scarce skills. But those skills should be inside the municipalities.
No, I agree with you. Of course, those skills are scarce. The technical skills of planning and financial management, they are scarce, and I can understand that government is trying to assist municipalities where those skills are lacking, to assist them with hubs of expertise that can maybe sort of assist. But in the end, it is about municipalities appointing the right people for the right positions. And we still see too many examples of municipal councils making appointments that are really, really dubious, where people without the necessary skills, without qualifications, are appointed because of nepotistic reasons. And that is always going to collapse a municipality. That can only last a few months, and then it's clear that things are not working. And that's when we then come in with parachuting models and hubs and etc. And we're not looking at the long-term solution, which is to really ensure that municipalities make the right appointments from the get-go. I mean, there are impoverished small rural municipalities like Nkosazana in the Eastern Cape, which has always made the right appointments and is stable and consistent, even though it's deep in the rural areas. But because of stability and because of good leadership, that municipality runs. And that's the example for many other municipalities.
Yeah, a city manager must be a manager, not a deployee from Luthuli House who's got certain political connections, because that has not worked. Anyway, just from your view, you said maybe the new thing that this model might introduce is to give a little bit of an impetus in addressing the local government challenges as that were, you know, the program that was started in the early 2000s. Besides that, is there any other silver lining in what Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma is now proposing?
Well, the one silver lining may be that the rest of government is going to pay greater attention to what's happening in local government, because that has also been part of the problem. Local government municipalities are also sometimes being left to their own devices, where state-owned entities, the ESCOMs and the other state-owned entities have made plans, have taken decisions without consulting municipalities, and not planning in consultation with municipalities. For example, a provincial department of education would build a school in the middle of a municipality without consulting the municipality on the services that need to be installed to make that school work, you know, the sewerage, the electricity, the water, the sanitation, etc. So that may be the silver lining to this model, that the rest of government pays greater attention to the need to actually consult local government on its plans in those specific areas.
Okay, thank you very much for your insights there. That's Professor Jaap Visser. He's a co-author of Local Government Law of South Africa and the director of the Dullah Omar Institute.